Peace, this is your boy, Jay Everyday, and the name of this discussion is going to be called The Art of Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a term that, well, I'm not going to give you the dictionary term, I'm just going to give you my definition of gaslighting. To me, gaslighting is trying to provoke a response or reaction based on something being done or something being said. The reason why I wanted to talk about this subject is because I've been a victim of gaslighting, as I'm sure a number of you people have also. And what I'm noticing in media is there seems to be a few people that are kind of experts at gaslighting. Now, these people can't tell me that they are not doing this to elicit a response or to drive traffic towards the content that they create. It's so blatant and it's so insidious, it's disgusting to see. So what I'm going to do is give you a couple examples of people that are gaslighting, or who I consider to be experts at gaslighting. We'll first start off with this guy by the name of Jason Whitlock. He's from, I believe, Indiana, but he worked in Kansas City before he moved on to ESPN, and now he's on Fox Sports 1 network. Sports are inconsequential, but this guy Whitlock tends to say things for the sole purpose of eliciting a response, or does things to gaslight. A prime example of that is his issue with Colin Kaepernick. Now, he first said that Colin Kaepernick is doing this protest because he wants attention, as if being an NFL quarterback isn't enough attention. That's one thing. The second thing is he said that Colin Kaepernick should look to Johnny Manziel as a role model. As far as this role model shit goes and the gaslighting things that he said, he also said he wants, if he had a son, I would rather him be Tom Brady. I'd rather him look up to Tom Brady than Colin Kaepernick. The problem with those statements, I'm going to break them down for you. Say what you want about Tom Brady as being a role model, but, you know, people don't like to talk about everything in Tom Brady's past too, like, you know, did you leave your pregnant girlfriend for a supermodel? His first child's mother has too much class and dignity to put their business out there, but, you know, that's basically what he did. He probably cheated with regards to knowing the signals for the Super Bowl, and he definitely tampered with the balls, and when the NFL asked him for his phone, he threw his phone away. But people tend to gloss over that shit. As far as Colin Kaepernick and Johnny Manziel, you had somebody who was probably doing coke, drinking. I think he put his hands on his girlfriend at the time. Colin Kaepernick hasn't done any of these things. Anything Colin Kaepernick did was kneel and protest. So, when I hear him say certain things, I know that he's trying to create friction and drive traffic to his station. Just like the time when he did a Colin Kaepernick skit and he had Kid from Kid and Play put on the wig. He did some dumb shit. I don't even really remember. I'll have to look it up and see. But the whole purpose of him doing that was to draw traffic to him. I bet you right now, if you go on to that, if you find a number of sites that has that that spoof, the Whitlock spoof of Colin Kaepernick, you're going to see what I'm talking about. He knows exactly what he's doing. So he's a serial gaslighter. Oh, I forgot about this. He said Serena would have greater success in tennis if she lost about 20 pounds. Now, my thing is, ain't nobody in the best physical shape they can be. I only know a few people that are. I can stand to get in some better physical shape too. But, this dude is morbidly obese. And you got the nerve to want to sit up here and say Serena need to lose 20 pounds? That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But I don't want Serena to lose 20 pounds from anywhere. Does it look like everything is supposed to sit where it's sitting at to me? But, I ain't going to get too graphic, and I don't want to sound misogynistic either. But that's another example of him gaslighting. And I'm like, yo, you sit up here and you all swollen and bloated, and you're going to say somebody need to lose 20 pounds. And it's like, my dude, you need to lose about 100, at least 100, before you sit up here and talk about Serena. So that's the first person I'm going to talk about. The next person I'm going to talk about is this woman by the name of Dana Loesch. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Dana Loesch is, a fairly attractive woman, but she's a gun rights advocate. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe you should own guns if you want to. I don't think you should own machine guns, but that's neither here nor there. Why I say that she's a serial gaslighter is that she said if Martin Luther King Jr. would have had a gun permit, he wouldn't have been killed. Now, everybody knows this is some bullshit because he was shot by a sniper, number one. Number two, Martin Luther King Jr. did have guns. He did have armed people protecting him. But Bayard Rustin told him, you can't preach about nonviolence and you have armed guards around you. So that'll be a whole nother topic I'll have to delve into one day about Bayard Rustin or Rustic, whatever the hell his name is, and that whole nonviolent shit. I'll have to have a different discussion about that. So she says this. She says that, the people from the Parkland shooting want to take your guns, and Obama wants to take your guns, and for some reason, I don't know what that is about people in a dominant society. I always want to talk about somebody wanting to take your guns. No, they don't. They don't really care if you got guns or not. They want to take money out your paycheck. That's what they want to do. See, they try and make all of these social issues, but the trick is, let me see how much money I can take out your paycheck. Let me keep taking money out your paycheck. If I can keep you occupied with this shiny thing over here, or let me gaslight you about this issue, you're not going to see me bleeding you from your paycheck. The next serial gaslighter I'm going to talk about is a woman by the name of Ann Coulter. If you don't know who Ann Coulter is, she's a right-wing author, and she just writes the foulest shit she can think of. Off the top of my head, I can't think of no topics. I think she said something along the lines of the 9/11 widows is just out here, making money off their tragedy, or some shit she says. But she says some ill shit, and it's for the sole purpose of selling books. She's a straight hustler, but she's gaslighting people in order to sell her books. She makes controversial statements to get on television shows. And the one thing I will say about her that is I have to admire her for it. Whatever she says, she stands by that shit, right or wrong. And there's something to be said for that. If she says something fucked up, she don't take it back. She owns that shit. And she's not playing games. She's been doing this shit for years. But whenever you see her on TV or on one of her shows, she doesn't take that shit back. Yep, I said it, so what? Deal with it. And see, a lot of these other part-time and pseudo intellectual conservatives, they try and beat around the bush, and they try and say shit in a slick way. But the one thing I have to say about Ann Coulter that I respect, I don't admire her, I respect her for it, is whatever that shit is she says, she lives by it. She rocks with that shit. Another gaslighter, let me see. Oh, Mr. Alex Jones. Alex Jones is this right-wing conspiracy guy, and to be honest, he had me fooled for a little while because I thought that he was, I know he had a shtick and all with all the yelling and the Christianity bullshit and all of this stuff, but I thought that he would make some interesting ideas sometimes. But what I realized is, number one, I don't think he's mentally rap tight. Number two, if he is, I think that all the shit that he's spewing is garbage. It's like performance art. And number three, I think he says certain shit to elicit a response. Like Bill and Hillary Clinton is running a child pedophile ring. Obama is gay. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, after a certain point, it's like, yo, everything isn't a fucking conspiracy. Everything isn't about somebody being out to get you or whatever the hell the case may be. Excuse me. Another serial gaslighter is Bill Maher. He hosts a show on HBO called Politically Incorrect. And he says a lot of slick shit. And the whole point of it is, oh, that's just comedy. I'm just trying to be funny. And the other part of it is, I'm going to say whatever the hell I want because I can hide it behind a joke. But you have to listen to his show to catch the shit that he says, because sometimes he does a lot of subtle gaslighting, but a lot of times he's blatant with the shit. But he's been doing it long enough that he's created a following, and he's nurtured and cultivated that shit to where, oh, these are just jokes. So he's another one. There's another one, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. A lot of these guys in sports and political commentary, they try to sound rational and make arguments, but a lot of shit they say isn't based on critical thought and analysis. And you can just tell by some of the shit that they say. Because you have to remember, a lot of this shit is being done to drive content to their website. I don't even know if they believe half of this shit, but hell, for $2 or $3 million, you'd be surprised what you will and won't say. Because you make over a couple $1 million in salary every year, that shit can change your life forever. So a lot of these people that do gaslighting, they do it not because they have a firm point to stand on, or they're trying to make some intelligent point. They just say shit to elicit a response from the public. Another one is Charlemagne the God from the 105.1 Breakfast Club. Like, I think one of his most recent posts is, Beyonce is a better performer than Michael Jackson and James Brown. And it's easy to say that shit because we live in a revisionist world. But see, what most people don't realize is you have people that are choreographers, you have people that learned from certain people. Who do you think Prince and Michael Jackson learned from? James Brown. You can't say somebody is better than something when you copy their style. You're just standing on the shoulders of giants. That's why you're great. And this isn't me taking a shot at Beyonce, it's just me stating the obvious. I've actually seen Beyonce in concert. She gives an awesome show. But at the same time, have you ever seen Janet Jackson in concert? Janet Jackson gives a hell of a show in concert. I've seen Janet Jackson in concert before too. You don't think that whoever puts together Janet Jackson shows had to learn it from somebody? See, this isn't me trying to go off on a point, but people tend to gaslight because they're trying to drive traffic and create content for their media platforms. The problem with gaslighting is that, there's no critical thought or analysis. You're just saying whatever you want off the top of your fucking head. Because you'll say something and then you won't have somebody on there to actually debate with you about whether or not what you said is based on critical thought and analysis. Because all of the people that I've named, they tend to do this shit in segments, but they never have anyone on their platforms that can debate them thoroughly. Like, yeah, it's easy for, somebody to say, oh, such and such should look up to such and such, or, Kaepernick should look up to Johnny Manziel as a role model. But when you don't have anyone on your platform to challenge you on that bullshit, you get away with saying it and you don't have to explain your position. Oh, you may make a sound bite or something on it, but nobody ever really gets to call you on your shit. Because if you notice, these shows, they do them in 45 seconds or 2-minute blocks. But what's a 2-minute block when you have 4 people on there and you give everybody 30 to 35 seconds to answer a question? You see, a lot of these people that do that gaslighting shit, they say shit and they get away with it because that's what the powers that be want them to do. They want them to drive traffic towards them. But they don't ever correct them. And they get away with the shit because nobody ever checks them on it. That's why we have serial gaslighters, and that's why there's an art to it. Because you get to say some shit, you know it's going to evoke a response, you know it's going to drive traffic to your platform, and you're creating additional content for that platform. That's why it's called the Art of Gaslighting. That's it. That's the end of this topic. If you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe. Don't forget to comment. I will answer comments, and I will not respond to haters. Peace. I'm out.